Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I'm going to do the Mid Year Freakout Tag. I was tagged in a video by Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Reney at Beyond Books, Angelia at Read and Reread, Pat at Book Chat with Pat, Melodie at Melodie's Book Nook, Gavin at Genre Books 23, and Suey at Suey's Book Banter did this tag also. Per Kelly, hello Booktube. If you watch this video, and I hope you do, you will know what I sound like when I'm very tired, and I'm hoping she's less tired now. A lot of stuff going on in her life. There are some other versions of the mid-year tag that you can check out, but I'd love to hear your answers to some of these questions in the comment section. Or you can consider yourself tagged. Don't feel comfortable leaving a comment. You can leave me an emoji or give this video a thumbs up. It really does make a big difference. And I will attach, hopefully remember to attach links to the videos that all the people I mentioned did for this tag. There are 15 prompts for this tag, and I added a bonus question. The first prompt is best book you've read so far. I chose Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. It is a very grim book, but very well written. I think of all the books I've read, it is the one that's going to most stick by me, one I'm going to think back upon and still remember it as the years go by. The second prompt is best sequel you've read so far. That's Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. It is the second book in what was originally referred to, I think, as the Game Changer series. I suspect now it's probably referred to as the Heated Rivalry series. I have not done my review for it yet, but it was a 5-star read. A hockey romance. The third prompt is new release you haven't read yet but want to. That's The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham. I do have the book. I haven't taken it out of its box yet, but I do have it. The fourth prompt is most anticipated release of the second half of the year. Despite watching a lot of people talk about upcoming releases, I don't in my head have think an awareness of too many of the books. But the one I want to read most is Taipei Story by R.F. Kuang. The fifth prompt is biggest disappointment. There was no big disappointment, but I did have small disappointments with both The Vampire Armand by Anne Rice and Merrick by Anne Rice. I've talked about the reasons for that fairly extensively, but in The Vampire Armand there was a non-consensual relationship, kind of, at least the initial part of that relationship, between a 2,000-year-old vampire and a mid-teen boy. The book was set 500 years ago, but I can't help viewing it through my current lens, and that particular incident gave me the ick. And in Merrick, there was Merrick, the title character, when she was 13, she was sexualized by an also proper British gentleman, David Talbot, and talked about certain body parts of hers, and I just found that rather off-putting. So now, no big disappointments. I haven't officially reviewed those books yet. They're both 4-star books. Really happy I read them, so just little disappointments in both of those books. The sixth prompt is biggest surprise. Despite it being a very grim read, I didn't have too much difficulty reading Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. It wasn't one of those books that I had to grit my teeth and get through it. It's a very readable book. I guess it shows her skill as a writer. Very disturbing, but also very readable. Especially in the latter part of it, it gets quite thrilling and hard to put down. The 7th prompt is favorite new author, debut or new to you. That is Rachel Reed. I read both Game Changer, which I didn't officially rate yet, but it's probably going to be a 4.5, and Heated Rivalry, which I'm going to rate 5 stars. Both really enjoyable books. The 8th prompt is newest fictional crush. I struggle with this question, partly because I'm a lot older than most of the characters that I read. But even that I could get past if I kind of consider what I would think when I was really younger. But I just really couldn't come up with someone. I tried to change the prompt a little bit, thinking about what character I'd want to be friends with, and couldn't really come up with anything. I think part of the issue is the books I read, a lot of the characters are very charismatic and they lead interesting lives, but some are kind of dangerous, and they're characters I like to read about, but not necessarily like to spend time with. There are some in YA books that if I were much younger, I would like to spend time with, but that's a big, it's hard for me to age down that much. So I have no answer for this one, which I think is mostly probably the case when this particular prompt comes up. The 9th prompt is newest favorite character. That is Chloe in Get Real Chloe Tories by Crystal Maldonado. She is just a very likable, very well fleshed out character, very real, has her struggles. The book is about a lost friendship between 3 friends and rekindling that, little romance thrown in, some sapphic romance. So I really liked Chloe. The 10th prompt is book that made you cry, saddest book you have read. No book made me cry, but a clear winner for saddest book I've read is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. A lot of bad things happen to the main character, Natsuki. She is abused by her parents and her brother. She is essayed by a tutor when she's thinks she was 11 years old. But the main thing that makes it sad is the book is set in Japan, and societal expectations are pretty strict, and she just wants to live a different life than those societal expectations. So that makes me sad. 11. The 11th prompt is book that made you happy. That's Get Real Chloe Tories by Crystal Maldonado. Just a very heartwarming book. The 12th prompt is favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. I did not watch any movies at all, not just book to film adaptations. And I didn't actually watch any book to, say, streaming service series or TV series adaptations either. There is a new movie that just came out called Girls Like Girls. The book for it was written by Haley Kiyoko and she directed it. I did not complete the book. I might complete it, and because I think I might kind of want to see that movie. Might not make it when it's in the theater, but I might want to see it. And I think too, if I can get it, I would like to watch Heated Rivalry. It's on HBO Max, I believe. I'm not sure if I have access to that. I have access to a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure if I have access to that. So there are some that I'd like to see, but I haven't watched any this year. The 13th prompt is favorite review you've written this year, and then it says Booktube version, favorite video you've done so far this year. First I'll say that I do reviews on both Storygraph and Fable, and I try to review all the books I complete on YouTube, but no review really stands out as above the others. My favorite video release this year was 2 years as a booktuber and Q&A. It just barely got on the wire. I released it on January 2nd. I talked about my 2 years in Booktube. I got a lot of good questions submitted to me, which I answered. And it's, I think, the longest video I've ever released, around an hour and a half. Despite that, it got a good number of views. So that's the one I'm most happy about. The 14th prompt is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. First, I want to say some of the books that I bought this year or received are still in boxes, book mail, and I want to open some of them maybe for videos, so I don't have those. The aforementioned The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham does have a beautiful cover, but I haven't taken it out of its box yet, and I want to do that in another video where I'm going to unbox it and read a little bit of it, do a bit of a reading vlog. The book I'm choosing is Alien Earth, The Search for Life in the Cosmos by Lisa Kaltenegger, and that is this book here. I do love books that have space scenes on them like this book, so I think this book is definitely a book with a beautiful cover. The 15th prompt is what books you need to read by the end of the year. I want to read The Stand during July, and I also want to read Silver and Gold during July. The first is for a group read. The second is for the Vampire Chronicles group. We are going to discuss it in a live. So those are two I want to read in July. And I also want to read any book club picks for book clubs I'm part of on Fable, or if I do any other book clubs too, group reads or whatever, but I don't know what those are yet. Now I'm going to add a bonus prompt to my own, which I kind of thought was here anyway. Maybe it was in some past iterations of this. But my bonus prompt is, how are you doing on your reading goals so far this year? My main reading goal is to read 52 books this year. If I complete the 3 books I'm currently reading, I will have reached 26 books by the end of June, which will put me right on schedule to read the 52 books that I want to do for this year. I had a really good May. I completed 7 books. I've completed 3 books so far in June. If I complete the 3 other books I'm currently reading, I'll have completed 6, which will be another really good month for me. So right now I'm feeling really good about completing 52 books for the year. 52 books for most people would be a great year, but compared to some booktubers, it's not at the level they're reading. But it's still a good goal, I think. Another goal is to read 14,000 pages for the year. As of the time of recording this video, I've read 8,684 pages. That puts me ahead of schedule by 1,933 pages. So I feel really good about that goal. Now, the third reading goal is when I'm doing poorly, very poorly as possible. That is, I have a goal of listening to 180 hours of audiobooks, and I've listened to 0 so far, so it's hard to get less than 0, so it's hard to be worse than that. And it's not because I don't like audiobooks, I just still haven't quite figured out their place in my reading. And second half of the year, even if I don't reach the 180, I want to start listening to some audiobooks. And there is something I didn't make as a goal, but I'm doing better this year. Last year I only read 2 nonfiction books. So far this year I've read 3 nonfiction books, so I'm already less than halfway through the year, ahead of what I did last year. So nonfiction will never be the dominant group of my reading, but it would be nice if it was maybe, 20, 25%. So I'm happy that I've completed 3. And one of the books I'm currently reading is a nonfiction book too. So if I complete that by the end of the month, which I should, that'll be 4 I've read in the first half of the year. There isn't actually specifically a prompt to tag people, but Cliff tagged me, so I'm going to tag some people. And Kelly tagged anyone who's watching her video. First, I'm going to tag anyone watching this video. And I'm also going to tag a bunch of people in the description of the video. If you like to do a video of your own, answer one or more of the prompts. If you like to answer one or more of the prompts in my comments, please do so. It appears that the originator of this is lost to time, and there's a very different versions of this tag going around. Matter of fact, I looked at some of the other videos I watched didn't have 15 prompts. They might have 13. So, you have whatever flexibility you want. Of course, you always have whatever flexibility you want. But if you don't have anything else to comment, please add an emoji of your choice. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week. I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.